Watch Hope More with host Hope Demps on the Daily Gospel Network, the television show created to inspire, encourage, and motivate. Each week, we will provide a dose of entertainment, social commentary, and spiritual insight. This is your opportunity to gain a better understanding of current and important topics from a refreshing perspective, plus creative art, new foods, travel, event reviews, do it yourself projects, awesome guests, and so much more. Catch Hope More with host Hope Demps every week on the Daily Gospel Network.
Hello, my Hope More family. Welcome. You know what, guys? I cannot believe it. This is season 8. This is the beginning of season 8. I know it's been a while since I've been on with new material, but we've had really great opportunities come forth, including Hope More being added to the Daily Gospel Network channel starting this month, March 2023. So be on the lookout for a premiere party. Some of you may be watching already because it may be that you are finding the previews helpful that have been playing. I told you guys 2 weeks ago, but I hadn't told you much else because we're still tweaking a few things. But I want you to know that your participation and your support is so great. I've already had people like, oh, I saw you on my Roku TV or my Amazon or on dailygospelnetwork.tv. And I tell you, it made me so proud. But for those of you who are interested in checking out the previews, it's not our official premiere on Daily Gospel Network, but here are the times. It doesn't want to show. I got to get off to see it. I'll let you see it in a second. Okay, wonderful. Now listen, guys. At the top of every show, what do I ask? And it's getting to be a point that you're probably even bored of me asking, but I'm going to ask you to show some love. Show some love to the Hope More Show. If you're on Facebook, please like my page and share on your page or with a group page, as long as you follow the rules. And if you're on YouTube channel, please like, share, click the bell, subscribe so you know when I come on. So I'm going to ask you to do that in support of Hope More. Last year, you guys definitely helped me in building on my subscription base and YouTube, and I really appreciate it. And Facebook has done much better, but we've been pushing that longer. So we want to get to at least 300 subscribers before this first quarter is over. So please help it go beyond that. Okay. So without further ado, I want to talk about who our special guests are. We are going to be talking about positioning for purpose. Don't you like that? Like, how many of you guys, it's past January, it's past February, we're like really, really good into the year. We're now in the last month of the first quarter. So we should really be well on our way with any of those New Year resolutions. We've already failed some of them, started new ones, but regardless, we all have an opportunity always to work in purpose. And you guys know my personal theme for this new year is Seeing You See Me 2023. And the you in this is God the Father, but it also could be my family, my friends, and my supporters. The idea of becoming who I'm supposed to be and getting a joy out of seeing you see me as God sees me. So hence, funky glasses every episode, I promise you. But today we're talking about position for purpose. How many of you guys know what your purpose in life is? Well, if you don't, this is a show for you. If you do and you're on that journey, this is the show for you. I'm going to bring on our first guest. You know him. He's been on 2 Hope More shows in the past 2 years. We love him. He's talked about financial wisdom and credit repair. The last time he was on the show, he talked about the importance of life insurance and protecting your legacy. And today he's brought a collective of amazing experts, I'm going to call them, in the whole idea of positioning yourself for purpose, and that is Mr. Justin DeFore. Hi, Justin.
What's going on, Hope? How you doing today?
I am so happy. We have been talking about this show for I don't know how long. How long have we been talking about this show? I feel like it's been we've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, it's been probably, I would say, two months maybe.
At the very least. Well, Justin, you're here representing a number of things, but let's first start off with this conference and who's sponsoring it, and tell my audience a little bit about your conference, Position for Purpose.
Awesome. Well, so first of all, I'm here on behalf of UR Brands, the people who are actually sponsoring the conference or running the conference or hosting the conference is the Game Changers. And the reason for the conference is that a lot of times we may not know what our purpose is or how we even get to what our purpose is. And so if you learn things about yourself and how to position yourself for purpose, you can have fulfillment as well. A lot of times we don't understand and know what the purpose is. And in fact, we lose fulfillment in things that we do. So we just go day in, day out, what we want to do, what we want to be, instead of actually looking at the purpose and actually wanting to be fulfilled.
Man, I love it. I'm ready for this ride. So this is happening April 15th. You sort of see it under the bumper. I'm using the Game Changers background as our graphic. Is April 15th, which is a Saturday, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it's going to be in Smyrna, Georgia?
No, it's actually going to be held in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Okay.
Off of 78.
Okay, Stone Mountain, Georgia. And in fact, we're going to be listing the event information for people to register and find out more. But before we go there, on this question of being positioned for purpose, you brought, I'm calling them a collective. You've curated a group of phenomenal people who have definitely made inroads in determining and positioning self for purpose. So I'm going to almost like a team. We're going to call them out.
All right.
Do you want to do the favors or should I?
Let me go ahead and call them out.
Okay.
So the first person that we're going to bring up is Miss Monique Welch. She's such an amazing individual. I love her so much. And honestly, God chose all of these individuals for this conference. And so I know her background. I know who she is and where she's going. And God said, I need her to talk about how she got positioned for purpose.
Awesome. Well, Monique, we're going to have you give your brief introduction when we get everybody on. So that you see her from the side. Isn't that lipstick kicking? I'm like, that lipstick has purpose. Who else are you calling out on this great collective?
I'm going to call out Miss Sonia Gunter. She is such an amazing individual. She's done so much for the community. I've worked with her. I've known her for a very, very long time. She's such a special woman and a woman of God. She definitely is someone that I would say will help you get to your purpose. So Sonia Gunter, definitely.
Hi, welcome, Sonia. Okay, last but not least, who are you going to call out next?
Last but not least, what can I say about this woman? She has definitely helped me out in so many different ways. She does not even know. She's been a blessing to me. She's done so many things from creating visions for me, and just really helping me become the man that I am today. So I want to bring up Miss Makita Phillips.
All right, Makita, how are you doing, sweetie?
Good. How are y'all doing?
We are so glad to have you on here. Now, I know, Justin, you are a giant in the industry of purpose and finances, but you are standing up over us, I feel like. So I want to sort of put us side by side a little bit better. Is it okay if you sit down, or is that, if that's a better viewpoint, that's fine.
You know what? I'll come down. I'll be low.
I don't want to mess up
No,
your
no, 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 no.
dexterous reload.
It was the seat. I was trying to get the you are chosen thing going on, but you know
Oh,
what?
stay standing. Stay standing. Work your brand. Work your brand. Stay standing. I was just not wanting it to look a little domineering, since you're the only male that's going to be on today's panel. Unfortunately, Coach T, who's a part of the speakers, and Ashley, who are part of the speakers slated for the conference, are not able to make it today, but hopefully we can get a shout out in or a short interview with them sometime in the future. So, but I'll just let you be the man of the hour and represent. But what we're going to do is go around and let your wonderful guests give us a brief introduction of themselves, starting with Monique. And you all, make sure you take your mute off when you're speaking.
Hey, Hope. So
hello.
I'm glad you said it. I feel like Charlie's Angels. Like Justin is over there and just, he brought on the squad.
I don't even know what the poses are.
I know. But it's such a pleasure and an honor to be on your show. I love everything that it stands for. When Justin reached out to me in regards to positioning for purpose, I said that is so interesting, especially where I am in life right now. But I represent Generational Wealth Builders. I am the segment that wants to make sure we make Wall Street Main Street, and we educate a community of individuals who otherwise have been either miseducated, undereducated, or just misrepresented, if at all, within a financial space. So that is my heartbeat. That is my purpose and my passion. And I know that typically individuals often will separate what they do in regards to work and making money or a means from who they are and who they, what they are at home. But those two intertwine for me. So it's a ministry.
I love it. I love it. Amen. And you said what was the phrase? Making something?
Yep. Like making Wall Street Main Street.
Making Wall Street Main Street. All right. I like that. I like that. So Sonia, if you would tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you again for the opportunity, Justin and Miss Hope. Proud to happy to meet you on today. I'm a nurse by career, been a nurse for about 20 years now. I'll be 20 years in July. I've parlayed all my nursing skills and experience into business ownership. So I own a private duty home care agency in which I have staff that go into communities and homes and takes care of seniors. And the blessing of that position, or that this job that I hold, or this opportunity, is that not only do I take care of seniors, but I also get to take care of the staff. And so nursing in and of itself is a ministry. So from what I do daily, I'm able to pour into my staff as well as my clients. And from all of that, created a nonprofit called Angel 911, which supports those that can't afford private duty home care services. So I do ministry work daily, and healthcare is my thing for sure.
I'm sorry, I got excited and knocked myself out. Thank you so much. That is ministry. So last but not least, I guess this is like your mother mixed with your sister, auntie, and best friend, because she created the man that you are, but she is too young, so I don't know how that happened. Maybe that was prophetically from the womb she did that. Makita, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. Well, I do want to open up and say that this young man right here, I met this young man in a stage of my life that I was at a beginning stage. And so this young man used to be my ex-husband. So, and we are still friends to this day. So we have that communication of building each other. So I do, when it comes to visions, I'm founder of Vision Queens Movement. And so what I do is that I help people build their visions, help them remove all the distractions out of their way, how to identify them, how to know how to move as you moving in business. I'm a celebrity hairstylist. I've been doing hair for over 20 years. And so on my journey, I've learned how to remove distractions out of the way as I build properly and learn how to build myself personally. Personal development is a very big part in when you are building your vision. And so that's what I do. And now I just started teaching the teens when it comes to the ones that want to be in the beauty industry to prepare them for where I've been.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. Makita, I did not know that. So I just want you to know I wasn't setting you up. But Justin was so flowing. I'm like, she's too young to be your mama. She made you the man that you are. But I probably should have known that.
I know.
Well, that even talking about purpose, man, it's really great to see kingdom relationships that survive different changes in relationship. So that's awesome. Maybe y'all can throw that in there because you ain't alone. And people haven't been or working with maybe people they've been in relationship or married to or in the family had a fallout. All kinds of things happen to people working in their purpose. So, oh my goodness, there's so many questions I want to ask, but I'll pose the same question that I did to Justin. What is purpose? And I know, it can be described in so many ways, but when someone says position for purpose, what does purpose mean to you? And I'll start with you, Monique.
Absolutely. That is such it's an interesting question to answer because purpose is different for everyone. I think it is you in your lane, right? Whatever that God-given talent, whatever that reason is behind what makes you tick, what keeps you going. I once heard a minister say this and it stuck with me and I was like, oh, that just makes so much sense. He said, find the thing that makes your heart cry, like the thing that hurts your heart. Your purpose lies somewhere behind that. And I said, the thing that really it keeps me up, or when I see it, it really is just that heartstring thing for me, is the fact that there are so many individuals that are disenfranchised, that are not given the equal opportunities because they don't have the equal knowledge or understanding behind finances and things of that nature. I grew up in a household where we weren't in a bad way, but we were comfortable, right? We were comfortable enough, but didn't have enough knowledge to propel us or push us and put us in a position where we could have had all of God's greatness, right? You know how it says, He will give you out of the abundance. Well, we weren't living out of the abundance. We were just living out of we're getting by. And it wasn't for a lack of my parents trying. It wasn't for a lack of hard work. It was for a lack of understanding and knowledge, right? And all of you get an understanding, and we didn't have it. And then I see individuals from the community that I came from who are struggling, who are not able to retire, who are not able to give their children the best of life. And I'm like, there's no reason why they should not have that same information, that same opportunity. And it's simply because there isn't someone advocating for them. That put at me, right? I never want to have to tell my children no because we don't have. I want to tell them no because, hey, let's learn a lesson in this. You don't necessarily need it, but it shouldn't come out of a place of lack because God doesn't want us to have lack. So whatever pulls at your heartstrings, there's a purpose and a passion behind it.
I feel like singing When Doves Cry. When you said that, I was like, do, 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 do. No, that's wonderful. I'm going to skip to Makita, being that she was last. I'll make you second on this one. Tell me, what is purpose to you?
Purpose. Well, I could talk about purpose a little bit because I just recently realized I knew my purpose was to help people because I actually love to help people. It definitely pulled on my heart. But who do I help? is the question. And so I just recently even God let me know what's my purpose. And my purpose is for the younger generation. I kept trying to target the older, and different things like that. And it was like, nah. So recently God started bringing the teenagers to me, and he put me in a community where it's nothing but a whole bunch of kids that's like attracted to me. And I'm like, what is this? And so I found out that it was connected to my purpose. When a little girl came to my house, she's from the school that my kids go to, and she's currently in a group home. Well, however, I was there to help her with something that tragically happened to her, and it pulled on me because it happened to me too. And I was able to talk her through the process. I was able to be there for her, and it was like God just showed me the vision that this is your purpose, is to be here and guide the younger generation to that you did not have, because when I was young, I wasn't guided in that way. I knew I was an entrepreneur since I've been doing hair since I was 15 years old, but I had no guidance in which way I needed to go. And so that's what my purpose is. And that's what purpose means to me, is to really reach down and get the ones that's coming behind and train them.
Wow. I love this. So we have here, purpose is what pulls on your heart. Sounds like also purpose can be what pulled at your pain. Like you can use your pain to help unlock someone else's pain. So God will turn anything into joy, right? Thank you for sharing, Makita. And not last, I'm not forgetting you, Justin, but beauty before sex and gender. How about that? Sonia, how about you? How would you describe purpose when you say that?
Absolutely. So as I was hearing everybody speak, we have our general definitions of purpose as it pertains to our own walks. But I went ahead and looked up the word purpose. And actually, purpose has two definitions. There's as a noun, and meaning to done something that is done or created for which something exists, meaning the purpose of this broadcast tonight is to share about the conference, right? Then the term purpose, or the word purpose, as a verb, an action word. And I believe that is how this is what we're talking about. What does purpose mean for us? It's an action. It's something that's intended. It's having as one's intention or objective. God has allowed suffering, even purposed it, is the example they give in that. So when you talk about purpose for your life, it is, what's your intention? What is the intent that God has given you? I tell anybody, you want to know your purpose for your life, write your eulogy. And as crazy as that sounds, how do you want people to speak about you and the things that you've done over your life or during your lifespan at the end? And so that is, like people say, you have the day you're born, the day you die. There's that dash in between. So your purpose is what you're intended to do. And then we have to dive into, well, how do I find out what my intention is? And I know you haven't asked that question yet.
Go ahead.
That question is coming. Okay, awesome. So when you talk about finding the intention that God has for your life, you got to get your identity first. And that's something that I know I struggled with as an adoptee. I was adopted from birth, found out at age 17 that I was adopted. And found out from the streets, not from my family, because they wanted to hide it, all the things, which is okay, made me who I am today. But when you talk about identity, and this generation that we're dealing with, they're so lost. The identity is so lost, and they don't know which way they're going. They're picking up this, they're picking up that, whatever sounds good, feels good, looks good. I'm going to try that on just to kind of assimilate and to fit in. And no one's really, Makita used the word guiding. No one's really guiding these young folks. So it's about first getting your identity. If you don't know who you are, you're not even sure what you're intended to do until you get that first part figured out.
Wow. That is just so powerful. I was just thinking, at the end of the day, it's amazing how many times people may find themselves finding their purpose through things that were not enjoyable. A lot of times people are not finding their purpose because they're just, I was just so happy. And I realized I was called to be a pilot. It may have been like I always wanted to fly because I wanted to have the opportunity to go around the world, and my parents never flew in their life. It's usually somebody's pain, even if it's not your own, that often generates purpose. But thank you for sharing. I see I got some preachers up in here, and you brought in the definition and the word. I love that. I love that. So let me ask, and you know what, Justin, I am so sorry, sweetie. And I'm from the South, so I call everybody sweetie. You are here presenting or introducing your collective from the conference, the Game Changers, that you're over, but you yourself are presenting, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to share what you're presenting on as far as your related businesses and anything you wanted to share about that, because I maybe not give you an opportunity to demonstrate that part as one of the speakers of the conference.
No, that's fine. I mean, I loved all of the ladies' responses. You could have went without me. I'd have been in there eventually.
You would have got it. You're like, I'm doing it now.
I would have came in there eventually. So I have a company called You Are Brands, and it's not who you want to be, but it's who you are. And so in that, as you see, I'm wearing my marketing stuff, my clothing line. And the goal is for people to understand that God created them with something. God created them with a seed. And so in that seed generates your purpose. And so once you understand who you are, you can walk in who you are. And so as it pertains to, I'll even answer the question, what is your purpose, right? As it pertains to purpose, as Sonia said, you got to learn who you are first before you can even position yourself for the purpose. And a lot of times as you go through life, you try to identify. And the thing is, we identify sometimes with the wrong thing that doesn't even actually have anything to do with our purpose. Right? I mean, shoot, we go to school sometimes because they tell us to go to school, and it has nothing to do with our purpose. It's just something that has been conditioned. And so I'd rather people get out of condition and into purpose, because if you get into purpose, you won't be conditioned. You'll continue the habit. It'll be a habit. You know what I mean? So
conditioned. Okay.
So it's more so you recognize who you are based on who you want to be.
Well, let me ask you this, and I know we have everybody back, and I may just go to Monique. She's switched off all my cameras. Monique with this. And I know all of you may not have the same vision or viewpoint when it comes to purpose, but you come from the same heart. But I wanted to ask, it was interesting that Justin mentioned you, as well as for Sonia, she had to know who she was first before she could find her purpose. And then Justin said it as a declarative. You won't know your purpose until you know who you are. Do you believe that people can be working or living in their purpose and not yet be aware, because they've not connected that is their purpose? And does that make sense as a question?
It makes sense. I think I see everyone's head as you started to ask that question. Everybody's shaking their head. Yes, absolutely. I think sometimes we gravitate toward certain skill sets or certain behaviors, certain things that we just naturally, innately do, not understanding, hey, the reason that you may not necessarily like it, but you're good at it is it's a part of your purpose. And then it turns into the struggle and the challenge of you know, whether you're going to accept your purpose or you're going to fight it, right? And when you continue to fight against your purpose, it's almost like it seems like nothing is falling into place, right? There's this constant tugging and pushing and pulling. And it's all because, you know, before everyone's kind of said it, before you can truly step into your purpose and accept it, you have to know who you are. And if you're still struggling with who you are, if you're still even fighting it, then that internal struggle seems to manifest externally. and it's kind of a power play. Is okay, who's going to win, right? Are you going to let go of control and realize you're not in control and actually walk in your purpose, which would give you that I hate to say happiness, because happiness is connected to happenings, right? In order for you to be happy, something has to be happening. To give you that joy, right? That true passion, that true sense of euphoria, as in, okay, now it's not just about me, but it's bigger than me, right? That's another thing about when you're in your purpose. Oftentimes it's hard to acknowledge your purpose because your purpose is almost always connected to something that is greater and bigger than you, and you're not the center of it. It's for someone else.
And that's very interesting, especially in this society. And I was going to say women, but pretty much everyone at some point in their life, they seem to be fearful of being great. Maybe they've been chastised for being great, and it comes in the form of, Makita, you think you all that, you can do hair. Oh, you got a business at 15, so what? Or, you know what, Sonya, yeah, she works with them old people over there, but she ain't no big deal. Like, this community can be, and I say the community, the world can be so harsh sometimes when we say things like your purpose is bigger than you. I once heard someone say, if your purpose or your calling doesn't make you afraid or like have a little fear, like, oh, I don't know how I could do it, you're not thinking big enough. And that is so relative, right? Because people often ascribe greatness or bigness, if you would, is that a word, bigness, to stage and platform and spotlight. We're such an extroverted or pressure to be extroverted Hollywood type. Like, if you want to be a pastor, you got to be a mega pastor. If you want to be in finances, you need to rule Wall Street. All of those may be also true, but it also could be that you're supposed to impact generations to understand what wealth is, and you undoubtedly will be successful, but maybe it's that third generation that will have the sustaining welfare that speak of, the matriarch Monique, like the Vanderbilts. You may not see it in your lifetime, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't an amazing purpose. And I wanted to ask someone else, because we do know, and you all have shared, how purpose can come from pain. And Monique talked about how sometimes you don't want to do your purpose. Like you're good at something, but you want to do it. And I was just wondering, and maybe this is individual, anyone here actually didn't want to do it, not just because you're good at it, but you sort of like undervalue what that was. You're like, you sort of had your head turned towards, oh, I don't know, I want to be a doctor. And God's like, I'm calling you to do this. And so it wasn't so much that you just totally not hated it, but you undervalued what you had. Like, that can't be my purpose. I need something else. And God's like, nope, this is your purpose. Come back this way.
If I can jump in there, I will say, to answer your question, kind of piggyback on some things that Monique had mentioned. When you're young, and sometimes people can recognize purpose in you before you recognize it. And so there's sometimes the fight comes there, and you're just, you're not wanting to, your own pride or your way of wanting to do things. You don't listen to that wisdom that's in front of you. But, God puts people in your way and in your life to bring reflection, or to bring that to you, as a thought. When my father told me many years ago to get into healthcare, for me, it was just a job. Oh, okay. He said, get into healthcare, you'll always have a job. And so that's how I approached it. And then here I am, 20 years later, really 25 years in terms of being in healthcare, period. And I am now impacting lives through my staff. And it's not even that I nurse. I don't do hands-on nursing. I haven't been clinical in years anymore. But my leadership skill and my ability to enter into a space, it took the credentials that I have to enter into that space to get to the caregiver, or to get to the staff that needed what I could impart in them based on my own journey through the healthcare realm. And that all started because my father said, get into healthcare, you'll always have a job. You know what I mean? So had I not taken that wisdom from my father, not understanding, I don't think he ever understood the gravity of what he was telling me, or that God was using him in that moment to mold me into a direction that not only sustained my family and fed my family, but now I'm in a position, I feed families every Friday when I write payroll. And it's such a wonderful feeling, even better than taking care of the seniors themselves. When I write that payroll and I'm signing checks and people are having Christmas and dinner and school clothes and able to go to the doctor because Sonia stood in her position and got into her purpose, it's an amazing feeling. It's amazing.
That's powerful. Oh my gosh, that's powerful. I know that at times people see more than one purpose, or they know they have a purpose, but God and his wonderful creativity allow us to express that purpose in different ways. And sometimes when we hear, taking care of, people who have health concerns, we think of that, but that also included, if not, may even been the reason I need you to help put money in other people's families, because you're going to be a just boss. You're going to be honest. You're going to be full of integrity. And we need more people like that. But your giftings and skill set and encouragement was under healthcare. And I think that's important. And just shout out to my nephew, Breon, who's in aeronautical university at Embry-Riddle in Daytona. He has a heart for ministry, and he's graduating in May. And many times he's called me like, Auntie, I don't know. I don't want to put school above God. I just feel like I should get into ministry. And I was like, I spoke to God. And he said, finish your aeronautical science degree and learn how to run a cargo company so that you can serve him and have this unique skill set that churches and other believers can benefit from. Everybody can't just be in the pulpit. We need people in the healthcare. We need people doing our hair. We need electricians. We need Wall Street consumers. We need finance, and we need clothes. So, but all of that gives worship and glory to God, which I think overall it's always a part of, I believe, God's intent for our living and our being. So thank you, Sonia, for sharing that. Man, I can see right now that I can get so caught up. You all have shared so many honest and vulnerable points in just a short time. I was really encouraged by the idea that even if your circumstances weren't ideal, it doesn't mean you came from a bad situation, but maybe you did. But you didn't know how to do finances. You didn't, you identified maybe with someone who's really gone through a trauma, but out of it, you found purpose. So I was just wondering, what advice would you all give for someone who does not see or believe that they have any purpose at all? And especially if it's anchored in, I've been abused. I don't know about money. I don't have friends. I just don't feel like I have it. But even if I did, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't have one. What would you say to that person, Justin?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say this, sometimes we don't recognize where our purpose comes from. Right. When I say recognize where our purpose comes from, and I know everyone has a purpose because God gave them purpose. But on this earth, when we go through certain situations and we go through things in our lives, we don't necessarily know that is the conduit to get us towards our purpose. Right. I'll give you an example. I was a delivery driver at Papa John's, and I got beat and robbed. Right. So I didn't, for a long time, number one, I didn't like to be around people. Number two, I didn't like the way I smiled. Right. I didn't want to do anything. But then I realized that, number one, I had a daughter who I needed to show that whatever she put her mind to, that she could do. At that moment, when I thought about that, she became my purpose. And then as time grew, as you can see, I like my smile, right? I still, it opened me up for other things that God could use to build me towards this platform. So once you understand what the conduit is towards your purpose, it'll build to other places. So for the person who doesn't know where their purpose comes from, or how they even get to their purpose, or what that purpose even means, or do I have purpose? The answer is yes. The question is, do you want to find it? Because if you find it, all you got to do is look around, whether it's your parents, whether it's your children, whether it's your environment, whether it's whatever it is, there's a purpose in where you are. Because every time God puts you in a place, there's purpose in it. You just got to be open enough for him to show you what that purpose is.
Man, I love that. You're introducing some terms here. Conduit. So your daughter, if I understood correctly, even in the midst of the traumatization of being robbed, your daughter was a conduit to other purposes, or do you think she was the purpose and the conduit was the things you did in order to support your overall goal to support her? Or is it a little both?
Honestly, I believe it was a little of both. Once I understood and recognized that was the purpose, was to show her that she could, do whatever it is. Because she saw me walk, she saw me graduate, get my BS degree. She saw me graduate, get my, master's degree. But she didn't know. She didn't know that she was the reason that I actually did it. And I actually had this conversation with her about 2 weeks ago, because she's graduating this year. So 2 weeks ago, I had this conversation in the car. I said, if you only knew that you were my purpose for doing what I did back then to get me to where I am today, then you would have understood the struggle that I've had to go through to get to this purpose. Because getting to your purpose isn't easy. It's necessary, but it's not easy.
Makita, you are nodding your head. What would you say? And thank you, Justin. That's really powerful. I don't know what's bigger of a purpose than a child to present in front of and not give up. But you are nodding your head, Makita. What, if anything, additional or different would you share about or give advice to that person who's like, I don't have a purpose. I don't know what my purpose looks like. I have no clue. You're talking about purpose and I'm trying to find some place to stay tonight, as a teenager or someone in their young 20s who are dealing with so many other obstacles. To even look for a purpose seems like a waste of time. What would you share with them to encourage them?
That's a big one. Because I could piggyback off of what Sonia was saying. And on my road of, finding my purpose, I actually became a caregiver for the same reason, that I was told, hey, do this. My mom did it. It'll put food on the table. But however, I just feel like sometimes your purpose can be for somebody else. It's not necessarily because my purpose, I don't feel a lot of things I did for my kids, but it really wasn't for my kids. I believe that my purpose is for nations, just bigger than just my household. When it came to me even working in the health field, I started doing their hair. Once they found out I did hair everywhere I went, so it was I ran from that purpose. But I believe, just being here, being alive, that says enough that we have purpose. And I knew that I had purpose. God gave me a vision in the middle of my trauma of, being going in road of destruction. You know what I'm saying? I seen my life going somewhere. And I just remember getting in the mirror and just telling myself, hey, you can do it. You gorgeous, you beautiful. I would do my hair, do my makeup, and people don't know for years that's what I did to cover up things, but that motivated me to look good. That made me feel good. And I believe that is my purpose, to help other people to motivate themselves on their journey as well, because it motivates me. If I get up and if I don't look good, my day is not going to go good. But if I get up and I motivate myself in the mirror and I say, girl, you got it, girl. Listen, you can do this. You want to do it, you can do anything. And that's what I do. And I motivate myself. So on my journey, I had to learn how to motivate myself. And I think a lot of people, need to learn how to motivate themselves. So if I could say something for them, whatever they have in their heart that they want to do it no matter if you don't have nobody cheering you on. Motivate yourself.
I love that. Makita, not only are you talking about motivating yourself, but your purpose dealing with making people feel better about their grooming and their hair. I mean, there's nothing better for most women than getting that new hairdo. And when I had like wearing my hair out, that new fresh press, and like, girl, it moves. It just makes you feel like $1 million. You could be still as broke as a joke, but on that moment, you feel like nothing can stop it. That is a ministry. But I love how you said, no, even when you worked in healthcare, you end up doing people's hair. So here's a great hint. You should look at the things you do, as Makita and Justin has shared, but look at the things around you. Maybe someone or something could become a motivating conduit or a purpose, or you may find, wow, yeah, everything I do, I end up singing. I sing on the program at school. I sing, at my job. Like, maybe I should consider singing, and maybe it's not something I'm going to work full time at. Maybe it is, just like, what do you find yourself doing that maybe for you seems like, oh, that's what I do? That could be like the cornerstone of your purpose. So I love that. Look around. I know our time is coming up, and I promised Sonia I wouldn't be on here for 2 hours. In fact, she said, how about I ain't going to be on here for 2 hours? I'm going to start going down to the last question. You guys, this is just a taste. You may be like, man, I want more. It's not even a spoonful yet. You have an opportunity April 15th in Stone Mountain to see them again at Position for Purpose. And I also have some of their contact information if you want to follow up. But I'm going to go to Monique and ask her this question. And I'm sorry to start with you. It may seem unfair. If you had someone going in the stream that does not, right now, they have not figured out a purpose for their life, because I think we can all agree you can have more than one purpose, or the purposes extend, to other things. If I'm like, listen, I'm 18, just graduated high school. I don't know what my major is going to be. I don't even know if I should go to college. I just have no idea what my purpose is. And you're like, okay, I need you to consider doing this in the next 24 hours. And it could be one thing. It could be no more than 2 or 3 things, because we want them to remember this. This is just basic, but that if they were to do this, this would put them in the momentum towards finding and having their purpose revealed to them. What would be your 24 action plan? And I need everyone to listen, because I'm going to ask everybody this. You guys get your pencil and pen out.
Oh, this is good. I have a teenager in my house. So anyone that's listening that has a teen, you already felt for me. But no, I have a teenager that's just going into high school. And so she's at that stage that we all find ourselves at, whether we acknowledge it or not, where we're just like, people are asking her, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you going to do? Do you know and she's just like, I have no idea. And there's so much pressure to answer that question that it's almost anxiety ridden, right? Where she's just like, I feel bad because I don't know what I want to do. Or people are telling me that this is the time where I should be trying to figure it out. And what school do I want to go to? And what am I going to focus on? And it's all of this, just everything's being thrown at her. And so we had this conversation where I'm like, a lot of people are asking you that, and they're grown, right? They're adults. They may even have children. They may have jobs and careers, but they don't have the answer to that question yet. So first, take that pressure off of yourself to, at this stage in your life, while you're still trying to figure out who you are and you're still trying to listen to God's direction and the Holy Spirit, and take that pressure off of yourself to where you feel like you have to have it together or you're behind the 8 ball. Like you're not behind at all. And it's not on you to know who you are yet. There are going to be experiences that you go through in life to get you there. It's all being still molded and formed, right? I would say though, the easiest thing, right? The most tangible thing that I could give her was, hey, just think to yourself, what are some of the problems that you see, right? What are some of the issues? Even if it's, just at school, what are some things that you wish you had that you don't have? Find a problem and then be the solution. Be the solution that you wish was there. What's missing? Is there anything within your capabilities? Even if it's, hey, it may take some research, it may take some connections. What's the solution? And put your actions behind that. And oftentimes when you're working to become the solution for a problem that you see, because if you see that problem, not everybody sees the same issues. You may see that issue because it's attached to your purpose. It's attached to the things that matter most to you. For you, it may be an issue for you and somebody else is completely fine with it. But if it's an issue for you, focus on becoming the solution to that issue. And in there, you may happen upon your purpose or at least your passion.
I love that. As you were talking, I was like, that's purpose practice. You used to, because all of our purposes answer somebody's question or problem. It may be our own family, it may be nations. But I love that. Practice being a purpose in that moment, in that season, because sometimes purpose feels daunting because it sounds like, what's your calling? How are you going to find it? We've already established that we all have, different purposes. And sometimes it's a conduit, sometimes it's the target of everything. And we've learned that you can find it probably naturally in what you often end up doing, but you got to start doing stuff in order to find it. So from Monique's perspective, you don't find your purpose by just praying 24/7 and fasting. You need to get out there and maybe practice being a purpose for someone, a season, a time, a nation, a group. I love that. That is great. And whether you're 18 or 55, take the pressure off of you, because it's often that pressure. And it's not even the pressure you placed on yourself. It's unintentional pressure, sometimes intentional, that others pile on you with the questions. And sometimes we're not gracious enough or know how to be gracious enough to say, I don't want to talk about that. Or I don't know how you reject questions that you really don't feel comfortable or even want to have to deal with. But that can offer pressure. It's like, I was fine until everybody asked, well, when are you going to have children? You know what? Let's talk about, your divorce. Let's talk about something else. Oh, I love that. Sonia, what 24-hour action plan? Or something they can do in the next 24 hours. One to three things.
Sure. One main thing in the next 24 hours, I would say, is to dig in, to lean in, and meaning, again, write that eulogy. What is it that you want people to say about you, and not have to lie at your funeral about what you did or what you were or who you were. I've been to funerals where you're trying to come up with the right words to say, and there's nothing, there's no legacy left, there's no conversation, there's, it's that thing, right? So I often wonder, or I often say to myself, what do I want my obituary to say when I leave this earth? And so I say in the next 24 hours, as morbid as it may sound, when you leave here, how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to, how do you want people to say what you've done? Did you impact people? Did you make a difference? Were you a man or a woman of faith and integrity? What did you do that was meaningful, had substance, while you spent your time here? I always share with people, God takes folks out for one or two reasons. One, your purpose has been fulfilled, and well done, that good and faithful servant. Or you're not living up to the purpose, and I have no room for you because you're wasting folks' time. You did not do what I assigned you to do. You've missed the assignment altogether. I've given you opportunity after opportunity to answer the assignment, to answer the call, and you have not. So when you leave out of here, and we all, either you're going to get old or you're going to die young, but we all leaving out of here. And what do you want your obituary to read? I would start there.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. Makita, I'm going to just do a little bit different. So I'm in my purpose. I think I know it, but I feel like I'm hitting obstacles. Maybe I don't have money. And you sort of answered this a little bit. Maybe that's why I'm pointing to you. Maybe I don't have resources. I may not have a mentor. I may be trailblazing, but I know what my purpose is. I'm called to be an astronaut, and I'm flunking math in college. I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious, but the person, regardless of what it may look like, they know their purpose, but the obstacles seem really real. What would be your 24-hour action plan to either revive their journey and purpose, or maybe a way to get over that obstacle?
Okay. Well, I would say this is something that I do and I've learned to do on my journey, is to identify. So basically, write down your vision. If it's to be, an astronaut, then you need to write it down already fulfilled. And then start with square one to say, hey, what do I need to fulfill this? What am I going to need? Whether it's going to school, whether it's like, start where you are. Even if it ain't like people, even if it ain't nothing but coming up with a business name, start somewhere. You ain't got to have money to start a business, to have the name. You ain't got to have, let me tell you something. I started business with just a name and a logo. Okay. So as long as you got a vision, you don't have to have money and all that. That's not to say it's not going to come into play, but you can start where you are and you build from that. And that's how you build on top of your vision. So I would just say, and along the way, to whatever, add and subtract. Add what needs to be there and subtract what don't.
Oh, now isn't that the truth? Sometimes it's not what you need to add, is what you may need to get rid of. I love that. Thank you so much. Now, Mr. DeFore, we've had the two talk about beginning. Makita's talk about how to get over an obstacle or a sense of lack of resources. Now, what encouragement will you give to that person who's in like the heat of their purpose? They've had some gains, they have some wins, but they're flowing. How can they keep momentum? What 24-hour plan?
24-hour plan. They're in the heat of the moment. They're looking to gain momentum. I would say trust the process. And what I mean by that is, when you're in the middle, or when you're in the heat, it's when you need to trust the process that you had to continue to go forward. Because a lot of times what we do when we get into the middle of something and it starts to be too rough and it starts to be too tough, we like to give up instead of saying, okay, let me trust this process, because whatever this process is teaching me is going to get me over the next hump. It's going to get me over this next level. It's going to get me over this thing that I'm actually fighting to get to. And so my thing is, the 24-hour is to trust the process, because the process is going to make you stronger. I mean, anytime, if you I always go back to this analogy of the baby, right? The baby starts out as a baby, it starts to crawl, it learns how to crawl, then it learns how to walk. Once it learns how to walk, then it learns how to run. So there's a process in that. It doesn't come, soon. It doesn't come all at once, but it gets harder, it gets harder, it gets harder, but it's always there for a purpose. It's always there to keep you moving forward. So as long as you trust the process, you'll always go forward.
I love that. Okay, I was trying to quickly type a little bit of what everybody said, because I knew this would happen. We'll get to 6:30. You guys, you just have to come to the conference. You just have to come to the conference. I wanted to let everyone know that this Position for Purpose, if you want to hear more from Sion, Makita, Monique, and Justin, as well as Coach T and Ashley, who are not here, come to Position of Purpose Conference. I put the Eventbrite information in the comments for you to click on to register. Also, it is on April 15, 2023. So you have a little bit over a month to register, but I would say go ahead and register. You don't want the tickets to pass you by, they'd be sold out, because it's only one day. It's not even a whole day. It's from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Correct, Justin?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. He's like, I was trying to follow you. So in closing, I just want to note I'm going to share what I've gotten, and I realize it's over an hour officially by a minute, but I wanted to make sure that we capture something. And this 24 action, you guys, it may sound to you hopefuls that are listening as like, oh, okay, that sounds too simple. Every great move starts with one move, one step. You can't do a marathon until you run a mile. Shoot, a block. How about that? You won't be able until you start somewhere. So don't despise small beginnings. The Bible speaks of not despising small beginnings. So listen to our guests when they say, I love this. And this is not direct quotes. Monique shared in her 24-hour action to find your purpose, take pressure off yourself, be an answer to a problem. I love it. To me, that's like practice problems, practice purpose, right? Sonia, she said a lot, but if you want to find your purpose, write your eulogy, write your obituary. How would you want to be remembered? And that's powerful. That goes to the soul of the question. And you'll be surprised. A lot of times people want to be remembered. It has nothing to do with their occupation. It's who they loved and how they gave, hopefully, in some respects. Then we have Makita coming around. Now, if you're facing an obstacle to purpose, a 24-hour plan is to write down your vision and just ask yourself, what do I need to fulfill this? Start somewhere, like what is your business name? And another point that I forgot to add in there, she said, decide what you need and what you don't need. So that's a subtraction and addition, and that's powerful. Especially, I even find for myself, I need more subtraction than addition because I'm good at adding. Hard to take away. And then Justin, our great leader of the Game Changers who's presenting the conference, he says, trust the process. The process will make you stronger. So one of the ways of building your momentum and keeping it is to don't doubt your trajectory. You're doing it. Just keep on. And I think that's so great because I can imagine how many times God knows that I have probably been around the corner to my breakthrough, to the success I wanted, and I gave up because I didn't trust the process. I started, well, maybe I was supposed to go by train and not by bus. And it's like the bus was right about to stop where you needed to stop. Don't look at other people. You guys have been so wonderful. Listen, there's some people who have some information. I'm going to put this in the comments too, but you've heard from Justin. This is his contact information. Take a screenshot or look in the comments, especially that number. That number could lead you to everywhere, 470-981-2884. That is for Justin. In fact, you'll see at the end, if you are a vendor, please take this number down and you would like to be at position for Purpose Conference, take this number down and call him. So in that post I will give at the end of the show, he says, DM me is Justin DeFore that they're talking about DMing. Okay, don't DM me. Well, you can, but I'm not responsible for getting any information to anyone. And then we have our own Sonia Gunter, who you've already heard is seriously boss chick. She got a lot of ways for you to contact her. I hope I did it correctly. She's senior911.org. Check out her website. Your _senior911 on IG and senior911 on Facebook. Listen, look at that branding. Look at that branding. You don't have to guess. Senior 911. I love it. That's how you can find Sonia. And anyone else have a shout out as to how, and if you want people to find you, how they can find you, whether in your social media platforms or if you have any business address or information you want to give. Okay.
I guess I can give mine. I think it was so. Anybody want to find me? I am on Facebook and Instagram as Makita Phillips, also as Celebrity Styles by Makita on all platforms.
and that's Makita. Love it. And okay, well, it's
Yes.
wonderful. Anybody else? I don't want to cut anybody short. And Monique is rebranding currently. So remember the face, the name. Did y'all look at the lipstick? Smile for them. Monique. I told her I was like not going to try to even compete with that lovely lipstick. I was going to put on red lipstick. I'm like, never mind. Okay. So thank you all so very much. You guys check out Position for Purpose. And Justin, I'll let you give the last word as we are a little bit over an hour to our Facebook hopefuls, and just to give them your last thoughts why they should come to your conference April 15th, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Purchase your tickets on Eventbrite, 2 to 5 p.m. Why should they go, and why should they look forward to seeing these speakers and more?
Thank you for having us on the show. This conference is going to be the conference of the year. You do not want to miss these lovely ladies, as well as Coach T. Anthony Money and Miss Ashley King on April 15th, 2023 at 2 to 5 p.m. We're going to do some amazing things. This is just the beginning, y'all. So I'm telling you, these ladies and that gentleman have so much to give for you guys to know what you do when it's time for you to position yourself for your purpose. It's time, guys.
I love it. So you all, you've heard it here. Thank you for joining us on our first episode of season 8. Well, I know you're applauding on both the live and the replay. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments. I'll get them to the speakers. I'll get them to Justin, even if you watch on replay. And thank you. I know we had someone early on who said hello. Thank you, Don, for being one of the first to get on. Love your support. I really appreciate it. But you guys know I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. See you next Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. here on Hope More. Goodbye. Everyone's leaving. Oh, I know. We got it. We're not off yet. I am just trying to get to your vendors so they can get your vendor information, because I forgot if I totally cut off. They won't. But Justin, thank you so much. I'm just going to have you remove, and you and the guests would please stay on until after we finish. Well, goodbye, folks.